How's it going, guys? It's Rev here. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we're talking about a lead form setup. So if you don't know what a lead form is, right, it's the one when you're scrolling through Facebook, you click on a button and then it drops down a form which automatically populates usually your name, your email and your phone number, and then that submits it to the company and they usually give you a call. This is our bread and butter strategy, by the way, for local service-based businesses who are generating quotes, want to start inquiries to potentially sell their products and services. Lead forms are really, really good for that. And speaking of strategies, a full disclaimer here, guys, use these strategies at your own risk. At the end of the day, I can give you the keys to my vehicle, but you're going to drive it totally differently to how I do. Okay, so taking that into account, let's get started. Okay, lead forms, let's get right into it. First and foremost, if you guys have no idea the page that we are on, this is called the Ads Manager. And there's two things if you've never seen this page. Ensure that you have a business manager. You'll know that you have a business manager because you'll probably be looking at this gray and white color theme. And you'll know you have an ads manager because obviously you'll see the ads that you run in here. Or you'll see this, that you're in an ads manager setup. So if you don't know what those two things are, you can Google how to set up a Facebook business manager, and you can also Google how to set up an ads manager, which is all very straightforward stuff, even for someone just beginning. So lead form strategy lives within, well, all strategies start right here with this green button, which is the green create button, which is what we're going to click. As we scroll down, we see lead generation. You can see all of these other wonderful objectives here. I'm not going to go into any effort to explain those today. We're going to stay strictly to the guidelines, which is lead generation. You will name your campaign name whatever it is you want. I'm going to call this one leads. I might go through as we go with this sort of instructional video and I might explain some of these bits and pieces, or I might not, just where I think they're relevant. A split test, really, I don't use them that often at all unless I want to truly figure out what audience, mainly lookalike audiences, work the best. But at the end of the day, you can all stick them on the same audience. You can stick the same audiences within the one campaign and let the algorithm decide what's going to be best. But if you really have an inkling, or if you really, can't sleep at night, you're tossing and turning because you can't figure out what audience works best, or you want a true measure, you can create that split test, but I don't use them that often. So moving right along, you set your daily budget to whatever you feel is necessary. Now, I find that your daily budget is quite relevant to your product pricing or your service pricing, or your price point is the terminology I'm looking for. So if you're in renovations and your renovations start from, 5 to 7 grand all the way up to, 50 to even 120 grand, we've worked with a client who got a lead which ended up being 220 odd Australian $1,000 for a particular renovation, then your daily budget kind of reflects that. So I guess this is a very kind of vague formula, but if you're selling services from $1 all the way up to 100, you could probably start at $20 a day. I think that's a great place to start. And if you're upwards of 100 all the way up to 1,000 and into the thousands of thousands, I think anywhere from 30 to 50 a day is a good place to start. But at the end of the day, the strategy that I'm going to recommend for this lead form campaign, test it for 3 days and then more or less re-optimize and see what sort of results you get in 3 days, which is a pretty low risk financial investment. So choose your daily budget. We'll click on the continue button. And now we're down at the ad set level. So take note here. On the left, you see campaign, ad set, and ad level. They are sequentially placed in that order. So at the campaign level, you basically just see the whole campaign as a whole. At the ad set level is more or less where we create our audiences and test different audiences, really. And then at the ad level, obviously we create ads. So you'll select your Facebook page, and then we get down to the targeting side of things. So if you've created some custom audiences of people who have visited your website, or people have engaged with your Facebook page. This is another video, by the way. I'm not going to cover it in today's video, but if you would like to learn how to create custom audiences and lookalike audiences of those custom audiences, then let me know and I'll shoot you a YouTube link, which I've done before. And then, of course, you can select your location. Now, I think for most people, it's going to be local service-based businesses that are either looking to generate quotes or Facebook messages, or at least just generate inquiries to get the opportunity to sell their service. Then choose a specific location and a target radius. So that might be, as an example, let's use Perth, and you'll type that in there, or you can type your specific location. And once you do that, you'll see there is a drop arrow which you can minimize or maximize the current radius as an example. Okay, you see how that's getting bigger, so do that. Now, I'm not a huge fan of cinching up the age range or even the gender range unless you are 100, and I'll repeat, 100% certain that you know these. Now, the reason I say that is the algorithm is going to look for people, and as you get more leads in these lead forms, Facebook's automatically going to show it to the right age and the right gender to get you more leads, usually. Okay, so I'd leave that open regardless, and it's going to keep your audience nice and big, which is a good thing. And then we jump down to the detailed targeting. So 9 times out of 10, if you don't have any custom audiences or lookalike audiences to start with, you're probably going to be burying yourself here in the detailed targeting. So how I recommend to do this detailed targeting, as with any time you use detailed targeting, is to just bunch interests that are similar to each other. So as an example, I keep talking about renovations. It's just a client that we've been dealing with recently. A renovations company who wanted to get more people interested in renovating their bathroom or their kitchen would be a homeowner. Actually, this goes for anyone, any of you who are looking to get in front of homeowners. If homeowners are your prospective clients, then these are the interests that I would use for that, because only someone who's interested in these interests is quite highly likely to be a homeowner. And DIY, bang. So you've got those 5 interests there. So you've got DIY, swimming pools, renovation, lawn, Bunnings Warehouse. That's an Australian brand for everyone overseas. And that's homeowners. So you can see there, Perth, 22-kilometre radius, open ages, open genders, 720,000 people. I'd usually start I know some of you are thinking, how big should my audience be? I'd say over 100,000 people to start with. Doesn't mean that you can't have success with less, just, be open to testing this. So that'd be the detailed targeting. Now, coming back to what I said with the detailed targeting specifically, in bunching relevant interests together, what I wouldn't do is, if I'm trying to get in front of homeowners here, I would use this bunch. But if, a second audience that I wanted to test were, say, people interested in celebrities, as an example, I think we can all agree that that interest does not belong here. Someone interested in celebrities is a totally different person, almost, to someone interested in home ownership, or people like homeowners in general, by way of targeting these interests. So that doesn't belong there. So what I mean by that is only bunch interests together that make sense and that are somewhat relevant to each other. Okay, so we're going to leave that one there. Then we come down to the placements. I guess I'll give you a quick rundown as to what these are. I usually 9 times out of 10 leave these on automatic placements. I'm happy for the Facebook algorithm to place my ads and our clients' ads where it thinks it's going to get us the most leads, which is the KPI that we're looking to get for. Just to give you a bit of an explanation, if you click Edit Placements, you're going to see everywhere that Facebook can show your ad. So Facebook Newsfeed, Instagram feed, Facebook Marketplace, video feeds, right column, Instagram Explore, Messenger inbox, stories, both Facebook and Instagram and Messenger, in-stream videos, kind of annoying, but more so for branding and awareness, Facebook search results, sponsored messages, in article, and then their apps and other sites, which used to be called Audience Network. So if you want to stalk everyone around the internet, that might not be a bad idea. I don't think you'll generate too many leads from it, but it's good from a branding perspective. So just leave it on automatic placements, end of the day. I don't touch anything here. I don't set a start and end date. The worst thing you can do is start and stop Facebook campaigns, especially if they're performing well. We've had a couple of horror stories in the past where we've just recently taken over an account, and you can see they're running ads for 2 to 3 days, stop them for a week, right? 2 to 3 days, stop them for the week. And the algorithm just does not get that opportunity to learn about who's most likely to convert into leads and inquiries. So I don't set a start and end date, leave them running ongoing. Everything else stays the same, and we click continue. First and foremost, you want to make sure your identity, you've selected the right Facebook page and the right Instagram page. You can see there our Instagram page comes up. We don't want that. So I want my Facebook page and my Instagram page, so double check that always. And then we get down to the creative part. This is where you include an image or a video. I think for most of you, a video is a really good idea. I've also got a video teaching you how to shoot video, which is a very simple format. It goes for about 6 minutes. If you want to learn how to create videos properly to generate more leads, you use that in this demonstration. Then you've got where you put the text above your ad. You have got the headline and you have the description as well. Then you have a call to action button. I think for some of you, I should say, not everyone, but maybe you'd use sign up, learn more, or get quote. Those 3, or even apply now. Those 4 have been the top converters by an absolute long shot. So primary text, that will go here. Headline will go here. Description will go there. And don't forget to use a few emojis. So I'm going to leave that up to you as to what you want to write in there and move right along to the actual lead form itself. Look, you can see one I've created earlier. So let's duplicate this one so I can save us all a bit of time here. When you go and create a new lead form, this is what pops up after they click your call to action button. They get presented with this form. So how essentially we're going to customize this, we go down to intro. This headline is the first line of text that they see. And you can see here what I usually do is call out the problem, which, are you struggling with this? Do you want a prettier and more, aesthetically attractive kitchen or bathroom, blah, blah, blah. Just call out the problem again, okay? The layer down here is this line of text, this paragraph that comes underneath that headline. Use that to your advantage. That's, real estate. And just, give them a bit more context, maybe a bit more in depth about how you can help solve this problem. Do that in the paragraph. That's a pretty good way to structure it. Then we get to the juicy part, we get to the questions. So basically, be super transparent in this headline. This headline comes underneath this paragraph. Fill in your details below and I'll give you a bell or I'll give you a call. Let people know what's going to happen next. If you tell people to expect a call from you, there's a good chance they're going to be in a good mood and not be surprised in a negative way when they pick up the phone after they've given you their information. Really important that you do that in that headline, okay? We move down, ask for their email, ask for their full name, ask for their phone number. Those 3 actually come standard, default, so you don't have to do anything there. What I recommend is to add a short answer, which you can see here. And the reason for that is, some of you might have run lead ads before, but the reason I ask a short answer is to eliminate what I call pocket leads. People who have accidentally somehow clicked on the ad, not even that, somehow clicked on Facebook, scroll down, seen your ad, click the call to action button, and then submitted a form. Now, the way that we can eliminate this, trust me, it happens, but the way that we can eliminate this from happening is the only way that they can submit this form is by filling out this short answer. So just ask them any question, really. You can ask a few qualifying questions, but what that would look like would be for you to click add a new question and then go down to short answer. The question would be blur, and then they would answer that here. Okay, so I'm going to leave the one that I just put there, which is, where are you located? Not here are you located. Then we go down to our privacy policy. So link your website's privacy policy, which might also be on the same page as terms and conditions. It's a good idea to have these here, or you can add a custom disclaimer, completely up to you. And then the last screen that we're looking to create with this lead form is the thank you screen. So this is the screen that they get presented with after they submitted their information, and that information goes to you, okay? I'm a big fan of, just thanking them and letting them know that if they need you urgently, they can click the send message button below and get in contact with you. And then you just put your the address of your Facebook page, name the button, send message, and the button type would be view website. So if we click that, that'll go to my Facebook page and they can, follow up and get in touch with you right now if they want to. So that's always a good thing. Then you'll click save. Then you will click finish. And that will load, and now that is your form. Okay, so just to reiterate, this is the ad that they see while scrolling through Facebook through the clever targeting that you have specified. They click the call to action button, which in this demonstration is sign up. They get presented with this form, they fill out the form, they click next, then they go to the thank you page, and you can put whatever secondary call to action you want from there, okay? So let's go, your ad might not run because there's too much text in the advert image. Be wary of that, okay? And if there's sometimes, probably, 1 in 100 times, which, isn't that frequent, but Facebook can read your images when there isn't actually too much text in there. So if that's the case, then go request manual review and click confirm. Okay, we're going to go confirm on this. Then it's going to shoot us back to the campaign level. And now that is in review. So it's not running yet, it's in review. If you don't want this to run yet and you want someone to look at it, or you've got a Facebook marketer that you're consulting with to get them to oversee what you're doing, then just click this little blue toggle here and it will switch the campaign off. Okay. I guess a little bonus that I wanted to give you guys is how to duplicate ads and ad sets, well, audiences really, so that you can test multiple variations at once. I think it's a really good idea in general. But what that would look like, we're at the campaign level, right? And just take note of this campaign tab, this ad set tab, and this ads tab, I should say. The way that I drill down to the ad set level and then the ad level is by clicking on this name of the campaign here. If I simply click to ad sets, I'm going to get every single ad set that I've got there. So it's a bit of a mess. So by going back to the campaign tab and clicking on the campaign name, you just get the one ad set within that campaign. Okay. And then the same is also said for when you click on the ad set name, you get the one ad within that ad set, aka the audience. I said that a lot because it really should be called audiences. That's all that really happens there. So we're at the ad level. Now, if you've been following me for any length of time, you'll know that I am a huge advocate for testing more than one ad because we have no idea whether anyone actually likes this ad or the image or the text or the copy or the offer or whatever. So this is how we mitigate some of our risk or hedge our bets, in essence, if we're using stock broking terms, is we hover over the ad, we click duplicate. I would recommend testing at least 3 ads, in which case you'd want 2 copies of that one ad, and you will end up with a total of 3, if my math still serves me. And hey presto, you've got 3 ads. Now, what would you change? What other variations would you put in these ads? Click edit on one of the copies. You should change up the images. You should change up and use a video. You would definitely use different text, maybe a different headline, maybe a different call to action button, probably do that last, but definitely different text and definitely different images. Okay. I guess there's no right or wrong way as to which things to test. I just want you to test, because you won't actually know, especially if this is your first time, you won't actually know what variation, regardless of how much you paid for a video to get it done, or regardless of how much effort you put into an ad, you just don't know until you actually throw some money behind it and let it run. So make sure you've got 3 different variations, whether it be different images, different videos, or the same video and 3 variations of copy. There's no right or wrong way. You just need 3 variations at the very least. Okay. Now, if we were to come back to the ad set level, we're all aware that we have 3 different variations of ads in this one ad set. If you wanted to test different interests or different lookalikes or different custom audiences, different audiences in general, then you would also hover over the ad set name and click duplicate. And let's say that you had, again, another 2 audiences that you wanted to test, in total 3. Then it's the same process. You've got 3 ad sets here, and the reason that we do the ads duplicated first before the ad set is because now each one of these copies has the 3 ads in it. Okay, not all of them. It's just showing all of that because I haven't pushed them through yet. But the way you would change this would be to go to edit on one of these ad sets, scroll down, and change up the interests. If you don't have any lookalikes in custom audiences, if you don't have any lookalike audiences or custom audiences, then you're pretty much living here. So you would eliminate all of these, and now, as an example, we might put in celebrities as an example. And just FYI, I've never used that interest targeting ever, but it's not to say that you can't. So we would use that celebrity. So again, bunch them together with relevance. Don't put homeowners in the same ad set or audience as people interested in celebrities. They're not relevant, so don't do that. You don't get a true test. So that's the way you would do that. So again, let's say that we have, just to reiterate and close this off nicely, is you have 3 ads and you have and those 3 ads are in these 3 different audiences, and you have one campaign, which is a lead form campaign, which is hopefully going to give you a stack of leads for a very sustainable cost, and you'll be able to give Old Rev a virtual high five in the future. So what we need to do just as a last measure here is to publish this campaign, because you can see here that there's some in draft. What that would look like would be for you to tick this box next to the campaign name and click review and publish at the top right and go publish. I've got an error there on another campaign, but it's irrelevant. But you would click publish on that. That would go into the review process, and you would get an approval notice to say that you have had your lead form campaign approved. Okay, so that's where I'm going to leave it for today, my friends. Just a quick sort of call to action here. If you guys want any help, or if you want hand walking through this stuff, you can book a free call with myself. Only half an hour is about all the time I got for free calls these days. And I can chat you through some different strategies. I think more so you probably need help with ideas around targeting the right audience, and perhaps, you know, around shooting a video for these particular audiences as well. Okay. All right. Well, I hope this has been useful. Let me know if it's been useful by all means, and I'll talk to you soon. See you later.